United Nations Law of the Sea Convention 1982 has invoked enormous avenues for countries like Pakistan to benefit from ocean economic resources. However, in Pakistan, these valuable resources are extremely underexplored. We are not extracting any hydrocarbons or minerals from the sea. Fishery is depending on the same traditional age-old methods and obsolete, poorly equipped crafts. Data on the sea is not available or unreliable, and implementation of existing rules is poor. Pakistan has had one of Asia's largest mangrove forests, which have shrunk considerably, although some effort has been made recently to revive them. The country has an old shipyard which once built ships on order even for foreign customers, but now it is only dependent on uh, small orders from the Navy. Similarly, there was once a thriving shipbreaking industry at Gadani, contributing vital foreign exchange to the national exchequer, that is in doldrums. As we know, majority of the world's population is concentrated around the coast. However, in case of Pakistan, the entire coastline except around Karachi remains neglected and underdeveloped, and therefore scarcely inhabited. Natural harbors like Gwadar, Pasni, Jivni, etc., which have been in use for centuries, were until recently reduced to minor fishing villages, contributing little to the prosperity of the country or even the local populace. Because of our emphasis on land, the Navy, which is the custodian and flag bearer of a country's maritime power, has remained the most neglected of the defense forces. This is the, just the extract of what is going on in Pakistan now. But the situation, I must say, is improving because of Gwadar and CPEC, but at a much slower pace. History, ladies and gentlemen, is witness to the fact that nations which neglected their maritime sector often remained at the mercy of others. And hence, the more we understand about the oceans in general, and particularly about our own seas, the more we can contribute to our own prosperity and the general well-being of the entire humanity. The seas have been used since ancient times, primarily as an important resource of food, mainly fish, and as an economical and indestructible path for transportation of goods and people. However,
अभी इधर ना आपसे
advancements
बात
in
करने के लिए होंगे
technology
ऐसे ही होगा फिर ये आगे
promise a
कॉल
much
कनेक्ट
wider access to the depths and widths of the seas. The increasing knowledge about the variety of sources available in these waters and their bottoms, and the capability to technically exploit these precious sources has further enhanced the economic importance of seas. Technology has already transformed the traditional knowledge and uses of the seas, which are now being used for a variety of civil and military purposes. The canvas is very broad and it is not possible to cover the scope and benefits of the oceans in this short time, be it economic, political, or even military. I am sure during the three technical sessions, speakers will take care of all these aspects in detail. So I'll briefly touch upon the broader areas, starting with one particular aspect, which I think is the most important, but we don't give it uh, the attention it deserves. Perhaps we take it for granted. Ladies and gentlemen, with 70% of the Earth's surface, about 50% of the global primary production, supporting the greatest biodiversity on the planet, being the largest carbon reservoirs on the Earth system, holding up to 54 times more carbon than the atmosphere, and practically the heat sink of the Earth. What impact the oceans have? Earth's climate. First and foremost, it regulates the Earth system, transferring heat around the world, driving climate and weather systems, playing a key role in the global carbon cycle. Uh, as you know, there are two ways the heat is primarily distributed along the globe because of the oceans. First, you heat near the equator, the vapors rise up, forming clouds which travel to areas of lower pressures and precipitate in the form of rain on land as well as on oceans at different latitudes. Secondly, in the oceans, wind driven surface currents
पैसे पूरे
head
हुए
poleward from the equator, cooling all the while and eventually sinking at high latitudes in the ocean basins. Extensive mixing takes place across ocean basins, reducing differences between them and making the Earth's ocean a global system. On their journey, the water masses transport heat, gas, and matter around the globe. This circulation has a large impact on the climate of our planet. Ocean currents transport large amounts of heat and water around the world and constantly interact with the atmosphere, which enables the ocean to act as a heat sink to delay the full effects of climate change. Similarly, carbon is continuously cycled between reservoirs in the ocean, on land, and in the atmosphere. In the ocean, carbon dioxide dissolves in seawater, forming carbonic acid, and is ultimately removed from the marine system through processes such as the formation of calcium carbonate and the creation of limestone, etc. The exchange of carbon between the deep ocean and the fast responding system above takes several hundred years. Uh, until recently, we thought that our trees and forests act as the lungs for the earth, and the Americans take a lot of pride in their Amazon's jungles as the lungs of the earth. But actually, it is the oceans which is playing greater part in absorption of carbon dioxide and release of oxygen to the atmosphere. So practically, we are able to live and breathe on this planet because of these two functions of the oceans, heat sink and carbon sink. And we need to understand them and we need to take care of them. Another function of the oceans is that they supply living and non-living resources, from fisheries to marine biotechnology, minerals to renewable energy. The oceans are a major source of food worldwide. Uh, Approximately half of the population uh, live in coastal zones, and about a billion people rely on fish as their main source of protein. We all know. The oceans also provide social and economic goods and services. For example, coastal and marine tourism is a large global industry supporting regional economies as coastal and marine environments become more accessible. Ecotourism, in particular, is a fast growing sector. International seaborne trade relies on regular and safe routes for freight and passengers. More than 80% of global trade by volume is carried by sea, employing millions of people. Approximately half of the world's population live and work within just 100 kilometers of the sea. And about 100 million people live less than 1 meter above the current sea level. Marine habitats such as coral reefs and salt marshes provide natural coastal defenses and nursery grounds for fisheries as well as
ठंडी होती है 1 बजे तो वो
diverse
पक्के का है ठंडा
ecosystems.
होना 1 बजे हम क्या क्या
Now,
देंगे करेंगे
what are the future challenges? Uh, there are conflicting
तुम रहो
views
तो मेरे को
as to
बताया
whether
नहीं
we
था
can avoid the worst impacts of climate change or whether we need to just adapt to changes beyond our
ये भी तो
control.
खेतामा चला गया था
The complexity of Earth's changing climate affecting various regions of the globe differently
अब क्या होगा
presents a formidable challenge to society and science. So, what we need to do, since Professor Shivana has already given few recommendations, I'll remain very broad and very uh, brief. Uh, First, understand. We need to develop understanding,
भरवा लेंगे इसमें नहीं है तो भरवा लेंगे
particularly
थोड़ी
on
सी
the changes caused by human activity as opposed to natural trends. As I talked about the regulation of the climate system, the nature has that ability to regulate what the nature produces. So natural trends can be taken care of no matter how many billions of years the sun keeps on emitting heat, that will be taken care of. And similarly, the carbon produced by natural trends. But it does not cater entirely for the human activity, the human caused pollution in the environment and in the ocean system. So we need to understand the difference between these two. And then uh, recognize uh, the certainty of ocean acidification. Ocean acidification is a real phenomenon. It is affecting the climate, both within the oceans as well. So it is very important to quantify that, and then we are able to invest in sustainable approaches, which is the primarily object of this conference, to mitigate our problem. It is very cost effective, cost intensive area until the time we understand and quantify the areas, because we have to make focused investments and build on long term monitoring. As I said, we need to continue to monitor the areas, the phenomena, and then the effects of what actions we are taking to mitigate those effects. Only a long-term monitoring can give us the results, and for that, and with the help of that, we need to improve our models of understanding today and future predictions to reduce uncertainty. Because, well, fine, you have, as I mentioned, this is the heat sink and the carbon sink, but there is always a capacity of how much heat they can absorb, how much carbon they can absorb, and imagine when that capacity comes to the minimum, it will probably be difficult to have existence on this earth. And so, for that, it is important to investigate the risks and costs of carbon capture and storage,
ड्रेस तो
because
बंद
this is
कराती
probably the most dangerous effect on the ocean and the climate. All this we must bear in mind
ये बड़ा गोश्त
cannot be
चिकन
done by one country alone. Of course,
बड़ा
there are actions that each country needs to take. We have to invest our time, money, and effort. But more importantly, it has to be a collective effort, because the ocean phenomena is not limited to particular geographical boundaries. To conclude, I think I'm approaching the end of my time. I'll submit that achieving sustainable ocean economies has become a global priority. The ocean is at the center of the livelihood of more than 3 billion people worldwide, and it is a key life support for all life on this planet. However, pressures on the ocean and the ecosystem uh, services it provides have mounted significantly, from let's say, overfishing, pollution, and climate change, etc., and are expected to grow further as the ocean becomes the stage for a range of new ocean related economic activity, because now with technical advancement more and more into the ocean exploration activities. These pressures are pushing the health of the oceans to its leading to habitat degradation, as I pointed out, ocean warming and acidification. More frequent extreme weather events, which we personally, the Pakistan has also been suffering lately, and the almost the entire world, and the extinction of few species. They undermine the ocean's ability to support long-term socio-economic benefits and sustainable development. Actions to revert these trends are therefore urgently needed. Ladies and gentlemen, new and traditional ocean-based economic
the key life support that we have on this earth. He has talked about the role of ocean in economy, climate, food, biotechnology, health and beauty industry, its role in renewable energy resources, and ecotourism. And of course, he has talked about the future challenges as well. And the solution that he has proposed is the long time monitoring that can give us some positive results if we want to harness more from the ocean, from the maritime related resources that are being given to us. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Asar Ahmed, for joining us today. Moving on to our last speaker for the keynote speeches for today's first International Maritime Conference organized by Karima. Our next speaker is Commodore Babar Bilal, Satara Imtiaz Military. He is a retired naval officer. He joined service in 1983 and was commissioned in Operations Branch. He retired from service in 2018 after rendering 35 years of service. He is a graduate of Pakistan Naval Academy, University of Karachi. He also holds an MPhil degree in Public Policy and Strategic Security Management from National Defense University, Islamabad. His service qualifications include Pakistan Navy Staff Course, Armed Forces War Force, National Security and War Force, and National Defense Force. And he is also an alumni of Defense Academy, United Kingdom, and Cranfield University, United Kingdom. During his career in Pakistan Navy, he has served on various command and staff appointments, and presently he is serving as Director, Indian Ocean Study Center at National Institute of Maritime Affairs, NEMA, Islamabad. Also, he has served as Director NEMA for 4 years earlier, and he has been endowed with Sitara military by Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, and also Gambia has also acknowledged his services by awarding him its second highest national award, Special Honor Award. Thank you so much, Commodore Babar Bilal Haider, for joining us today. Over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Are you listening me comfortably?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this first inaugural International Online Maritime Conference. Let me facilitate the Vice Chancellor, Dr. S.M. Shahzad, faculty members, organizers, and also warm greetings from Islamabad. Lovely weather here in Islamabad. To the fellow panelists, students, and all participants available online. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Today I will be discussing little bit of Indian Ocean because I believe This conference has multiple themes, which an inaugural briefing was shared with. Let me. Yes. Okay. Can you see my slides? Okay. Today I've selected a topic of geostrategic environment of Indian Ocean region and Pakistan's maritime interest. Uh, I intend covering this topic in next 15 to 18 minutes, and my for this presentation is flashed before you all. I will be talking something about Indian Ocean geography, then some strategic economic significance of the Indian Ocean, a little bit of global power contestations. I will come back to Pakistan maritime interests and some concluding thoughts. If you happen to see this global map, this map purposely used it for this presentation, that this clearly depicts that what is the difference between the Indian Ocean and the rest of the world oceans. Both Atlantic and Pacific, they are open from north and south, and they are, uh, although very big water bodies, but not as big as the in terms of population. Indian Ocean is basically closed from the north; it is only open from the south, whereas it is housing about 2.6 billion population in just bordering this Indian Ocean. It has about 36 littorals, and then some landlocked countries are also dependent on Indian Ocean. 80% of world trade passes through this Indian Ocean. So look at the importance. It connects the, if you see on the, we are say, facing the map on the your right side, this is the factory area. The global factory area resides in the, the on the right side of the Indian Ocean, that is the China, Laos, Vietnam, ASEAN countries. This all area is a factory area for the globe. Whereas on the left, and the African continent is now considered as the raw material export area, and further left is the users, the Europeans and the Americas. They are the users of this output. So it crisscross. The business of the trade is passing through the Indian Ocean. The raw material shifts to the left to right, whereas the finished products come up from the right to left. So Indian Ocean is key to the global trade, and secondly, the Indian Ocean also houses about 40% of the global oil reserves, which are also passing through this area. Once we talk of the Indian Ocean, officially speaking, not going through the definition of the political definitions of Indian Ocean, Indian Ocean is starts from the southern limits of the Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, Lakshadweep Sea, and it finishes north of the Southern Ocean. On the right side, I am just sharing with you the official International Hydrographic Organization books, which provides these limitations. And last time it was officially published in 1953. Thereafter, about 100 amendments have been made. Indian Ocean has been redefined, but no official written document is available globally, because there is always a challenge, and there is a very cumbersome procedure to amend these extra-regional powers for their bases or their territories as for the time being. Coming back to the geostrategic economic significance of Indian Ocean region, third largest ocean, covering about 20% of Earth water and about spread over an area of 68 million square kilometers. I told you the 2.6 billion population, rather 40% world population reside within the scopes of the Indian Ocean. 65% of the known reserves of strategic raw material and minerals are available. Middle Eastern oil, 65% oil reserves provide 40% oil supply to the rest of the globe. About 400 plus ships crisscross this area, oil tankers, on daily basis. Half of the world container traffic passes through this area. About 80% of the international trade lies on the sea lanes of communication, which are passing through the Indian Ocean. And the volume of the price tag is about more than $1 trillion. as I earlier mentioned, that the Indian Ocean is closed from the north, so it has a very 7 major choke points. So choke point politics is on the rise also in 21st century. So these choke points basically they allows the powers or the regional powers or extra regional powers to manage, control, disrupt. They have the options on those choke points. The choke points include the Babel Mandab, Strait of Hormuz, and Malacca. These three are critical. As we all know, this is an informed audience, so I'm not further defining it. But Babel Mandab is good for the oil transfer or the energy route, and emanates from that Babel Mandab. Strait of Malacca basically is required by the uh, factory area of the globe, that is ASEAN and the China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan industries, all their cargo passes through this area, whereas the oil and energy sport is also from this area. And similarly is the Red Sea route or the uh, Suez Canal, which is also a bottleneck. So these are the critical. Whoever controls or whoever manages to control this area basically controls the global trade. Uh, Choke points. Just look at the uh, three important choke points. 21 million barrels per day passes from the Strait of Hormuz, which is housing about 40% of world oil. On the other side, 25% of the global traffic is passing from the Malacca Strait alone. 18 million barrels a day, 200 ships per day. Similarly, from the uh, Red Sea and the Suez, about 9% of the world trade is passing. So they are very critical. And Indian Ocean is known for this criticality, and as well as the Great Barrier Game is also being played because of these vulnerable choke points to each other. Once we talk of the Indian Ocean, there are some major powers, some regional powers, some extra regional powers, and some international organization, which I also consider them as a power, or they can influence the happenings in the Indian Ocean. And the major powers include the USA, China, and India. I have some slides about these three major countries and some few words about Pakistan. Rest are all aligned with some either with China or the USA camps. Once we talk of the geostrategic economic significance, Indian Ocean has seen near continuous presence of extra regional forces, be it the Americans, the Chinese, the Frenchies, the Britishers, they are all present since long. Similarly, maritime security and stability of Indian Ocean remains high on the agenda of all global powers, because any ripple effect, any disturbance in maritime security or a disturbance in the maritime slopes passing through the Indian Ocean will have a tsunami effect at the global level. Slog passing through Indian Oceans have become the world most important, being vital to global energy as well as economic security. Competition amongst various powers in Indian Ocean has the capacity to afterglize. Vasco da Gama, the Portuguese, entered the Indian Ocean somewhere on 20th May 1498, and the East India Company, the Britishers, they were here on 31st December 1600. So extra regional powers were always interested in this area. I've not purposely mentioned about the Chinese, which I will be talking about later. They were also present here in the same time frames. Uh, Hold on, my screen goes. Uh, Once we talk of the traditional maritime challenges in Indian Ocean region, I've just listed uh, China, US allied competition is there, India, China competition there, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Good to see that rapprochement has been made, and I think we will be able to remove this interstate challenge list. Saudi Arabia and Iran nations, they will be more friendly in times to come. Pakistan, India has a traditional challenge. Russia, USA is also fighting everywhere on the globe. Yemen, Somalia, Afghanistan, global leadership challenge, control of technology, poverty, major issue, poor governance, control of resources, role of NGO. So these are all part of the traditional list of interstate challenge, and we observe them all in the Indian Ocean region. Similarly, once we talk of interstate conflicts, conflicting global power interests, maintaining peaceful slocks is essential for global economy. This is also a challenge for us. Defining maritime boundaries and negotiated delimitation agreements with neighbors, Pakistan and India still to define their Syrian Creek issue. Although Pakistan has already defined boundaries with Iran and Oman, likewise Pakistan is the first country in this area which has been allocated the extension of the EZ for 50,000 square kilometers have been added in 2015. But uh, still these things are in the pipeline and they are being debated and they are a challenge for the peace of the maritime environment. Exploitation of marine resources must take into account established shipping routes, conservation of marine biodiversity. Earlier, Dr. Shabana was also mentioning something, and Sir Azhar was also saying the same thing. And location of submarine cables, pipelines, existence of equipment related to marine scientific research. Dr. Nuzul Khan also said on these lines. So these are the things which are flagged as a traditional maritime challenges to manage between the interstate conflicts. Likewise, once we are talking about interstate conflict, boundary disputes, potential aggressors for crossing maritime approaches, interfering in vital slopes, deterring criminal activity in the offshore zones, supporting regional and global security initiatives, increasing ability of maritime surveillance, law of the sea, enforcement of law of sea, control of arms, narcotics, human smuggling, piracy, naval build-ups by ambitious states. Some states are just piling up the naval arsenal or the increasing the fleet because you may say that increase of size of fleet is difficult, but if somebody is on that path, change of intention can be overnight, but that creates a ripple or there some challenge for the remaining the other friendly countries or even neighboring countries that why this country is doing so and so. So we witness some naval build-ups in Indian Oceans also. Illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing is also a traditional challenge since times to come. Pakistan is also one of the what we can say in this regard is handicap. We have some Iranian expert has already predicted that Pakistan has already lost about 80% of its prized fishing fish from its water because of this activity. At one time, about 100 to 150 Indian boats poach into Pakistani waters and they carry out fishing. Unfortunately, there is no check on these Indian boats about their nets and the size of fish, and they do it rampant fishing, and then on the arrival of the Maritime Security Agency, they just run away into their waters. And unfortunately, on the other part is that the other side is not looking into this, and they are just maintaining this practice for last 20 to 30 years. Climate change has another now a big issue which has been added into non-traditional list of the maritime security challenges. This is affecting increase in sea temperatures will negatively affect the marine life. Coastal erosion and seawater intrusion is also possible. Mangroves. Earlier speakers have also pointed out on this coral reef. Pakistan is blessed with the coral reef also, but unfortunately we are not protecting it. We are putting chemically full of waters, chemical or the sewage water or the factory water into our seas, which is hazardous for both mangroves and this coral reef. And mind it, these mangroves and coral reefs are basically the birthplaces of the marine life. Increased frequencies of typhoons and storms is now we are witnessing. Heavily populated low-lying coastal regions are vulnerable. I think Maldives is having a threat of going underwater in next 20 to 30 years just because of the increase in temperature and sea level rise. Deforestation. Uh, mangrove forest. Pakistan has lost about 8 types of mangroves in the recent past. Melting of glaciers at North Pole, and it is expected that we will be the sea level be rise by 1 meter by 2100. This is 2023. So look at 1 meter rise of global sea level will and mind it, about 70% of the global population resides on the coastlines of the world. So they all will feel the heat, and including Karachi. Karachi city is just at par with the sea level. So any increase in sea level, Karachi will be probably flooded also. Uh, in non-traditional list, other challenges include just shown at the fly, nuclear arms, missile control regimes. These are things which the powerful nations apply on the weaker states, and they control the maritime slogs, maritime areas under these pretexts. Climate change and related impact I have already mentioned. Illegal dumping of nuclear waste. This is another issue which is coming up. Illegal exploitation of seabed resources. Race to acquire Antarctica, the southern ocean, because once you acquire land pieces, then adjacent sea will automatically become your easy. So this is also a new challenge which is in the non-traditional mode. Cyber threat, military alliances, political disorders, economic challenges, population growth. Biggest probably issue which is being faced by government of Pakistan or the state of Pakistan is the population growth. Migration from south to north is another issue. On daily basis, we see people once you start embarking on the piling of the resources on the naval armada, so India is also eyeing on the submarines available in France in this regard. On the other side, Indian Ocean also has number of maritime networks or the states people are joining hand to address the different types of challenges. This slide indicates that list which I am sharing with you. Global contestation in the Indian Ocean, there are three major contenders: Americans, the Chinese, the Indians, and combined effect of these three, Pakistan needs to develop a coherent stance. Few slides about the Americans, especially why there was this impact of Asia Pacific strategy to Indo Pacific strategy a little bit deliberating. Then some Chinese interests and maritime strategy which they are opting in the Indian Ocean. Few lines about the Indians, and then we'll come back to Pakistan. United States considers herself as an Indo-Pacific nation, and they have a major geostrategic interest in Asia, which includes maintaining a secure highways, sanitizing great power rivalry in Asia, and defending choke points. And they usually use these five interlocking principles of U.S. national security, which include deterrence, dissuasion, denial, defense, and diplomacy. This is the American thought process. You see how the Americans came into the Indian Ocean. In 1951, they launched the island strategy, then port strategy 2007, rebalancing in 2009, US pivot to Asia strategy 11. Then there was some talk of the blue dot networks and clean network, although it appeared that it was focused on the internal security challenge of US, but basically it was also part of the anti-China strategy also. President Biden has also launched the Build Back Better World. And then lastly, the most important, which we will discuss in detail, US Indo-Pacific strategy, which has been launched in February 2022. So we see the US strategic options in Indian Ocean. Uh, this is my assessment, and the experts are there, and we can come out with some discussion on this also. That no immediate or looming crisis in the security of Indian Ocean persists as per today. But although US strategic option which the US is exercising nowadays is the old-fashioned alliance management. They are trying to make the alliances, maintaining naval power in Persian Gulf continues. They are present here and there in this area. Vibrant alliances in East Asia, clear commitments to Taiwan. They're supporting Taiwan wholeheartedly. They are developing strategic partnership with India. They have already developed it. This word developing is probably the thing of past. They are maintaining military bases in friendly countries junk is in this area. And once we talk of the base, that means it is more, the area of the base is more than 4 hectares. That is the what how the Americans define the base. So 750 such bases are there worldwide. Show force and intend to guard his interest at all costs on regular intervals. This is their policy. They always move here and there just to say that we are present and we have the wherewithal to implement what we think is correct. $1.4 trillion is two-way trade between Indo-Pacific. Once we talk of the out of which and the other country and has provided cumulative 850 billions in foreign direct investment to this area. USA is one of the biggest trading partner of this area. So look at this. Similarly, USA has also provided 13 billion for a suite of initiatives in the area of digital economy, infrastructure, and energy, including first ever US contribution to Indian Ocean Rim Association. These funds represent just a down payment on new era in US economic commitment to peace and prosperity in Indo-Pacific, as claimed by US. Earlier, USA was used to use the power only to control and manage the problems, but now USA has also started following the Chinese path that it is the economy which, if you invest in economy and friendly countries, infrastructure development, things will move much faster and much easier way. Similarly, providing additional funding of 300 millions as a security assistance for nations spanning Indo-Pacific, 100 billion for South Asia, and 39 to Bangladesh, 40 to Sri Lanka, and 17 to Nepal. UC claims that the investment focuses on maritime security, humanitarian assistance, disaster response, peacekeeping, lot many things which they claim. President Biden Build Back Better B3 World is an initiative launched in G7. This is also to counter or restrict the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative in infrastructure development, and this initiative addresses about 40 trillion worth of infrastructure needed by developing countries by 2035. So these 7 countries have joined hands to support some of these developments, which is a good sign now. US Blue Dot Network, I earlier mentioned also. Participants of public, private, and civil society sectors, Blue Dot Network aims to promote quality infrastructure investment that is open and inclusive, transparent, economically viable, Paris Agreement aligned, financially, environmentally, and socially sustainable, and compliant with international standards, laws, and regulations. It will certify infrastructure projects against robust criterion standards. Blue Dot Network governing body will regularly review developments in standards to ensure inclusion of foremost robust international standards. Moving to China, Chinese were present in Indian Ocean somewhere in 1403 to 23 when the Admiral Zhang Shi used to bring the flotilla times and again from China to Indian Ocean, and they used to sail to the European waters through the Cape of Good Hope area. So Chinese are not new if they are coming to Indian Ocean. They have been a maritime power of the past. Unfortunately, of that time, they were attacked by the Mughals, and then the government of that time, they thought that we have to address the land threat first, and they started shrinking, and after 1423, then their naval missions or the campaigns started shrinking globally. Uh, China again launched a Belt and Road Initiative, a very big initiative, rather biggest initiative till to date by any power at the global level. Long-term economic lease agreements, maritime Silk Road. China is developing a maritime bridges between Gwadar and the Port, which will connect the Arabian Peninsula with Gwadar, Gwadar and Djibouti connect the African continents with the Gwadar. Maritime bridges between Gulf and Myanmar for energy security. There is a pipeline passing through Myanmar to China, which caters for about 9% of the Chinese oil requirements. So that is a maritime bridge they have already established. Similarly, maritime bridges have been established from eastern China, that is the Shanghai area now, with the far eastern countries, Sri Lanka, Africa, Asia, and Europe. that is the whole maritime. Chinese are also using these two ocean strategies. They have separated the Indians and Pacific Ocean separately, so they are redistributing the balance of power, and they are focusing to develop the Indian Ocean specific naval platforms or the flotillas. Expansion and naval operation from Western Pacific, South China Sea to Indian Ocean, they have already adopted. Setting up naval base for Djibouti, this is their first overseas naval base. Logistic-based agreements they have done with the Oman, and they are eyeing other countries also. Similarly, lately the Chinese in their conference, the national conference, have launched the three initiatives: the Global Civilization Initiative, Global Development Initiative, and the Global Security Initiatives. So all these things are as part of their grand strategy to counter the U.S. moves in Indian Ocean in general and the rest of the global area. Chinese initiative addressing its Malacca dilemma. I personally believe no great nation has any dilemma. This the word dilemma is a political coin which was used by Chinese leadership that we are facing the heat of this narrow passage of Malacca. So China is using that threat as a coin to develop the Chinese Navy to guard its maritime interest, which I presume they are legitimate to do so. Physical presence of Chinese Navy in Indian Ocean is now a regular feature. Developing alternate pathways to Malacca, CPEC is one of that. CMEC, the Myanmar oil pipeline, as the China-Myanmar economic corridor, which is the oil pipeline is functional, 9% caters for. Food state in Thailand. There is on the right side, which I have shared with you, the picture of a possibility of a Suez-like canal passing through Thailand. It will be 120 kilometers long and will connect the South China Sea with the Andaman Sea, which is just on the northeast of the Indian Ocean, and it will bypass the whole Malacca and state of Singapore movements. So look at the impact of this one canal on the global maritime community, and it will be another great contribution or the maritime choke point, which like the Suez and the Panama Canal. So this is the third project in pipeline. Let's see when it materializes, but it is there in the papers. We have also seen this change of terminology, some strategic angles, that change of terminology from Asia Pacific to the Indo Pacific. That is the one important thing which I thought should be shared with my audience. Clear on the right side, if you see U.S. command areas of responsibility, Pakistan and India had a bifurcation or the command bifurcation. The U.S. Indo-Pacific Command used to be in the part. India was part of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. Both coasts of India, east and west coast, were part of this, whereas Pakistan and India borders were as taken as the boundary of the U.S. Central Command and U.S. Indo-Pacific Commands. But under the new terminology, U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy, now Indo-Pacific strategy covers the whole part of the North Arabian Sea. That means India and USA will have a joint arrangements to look after the management of the North Arabian Sea also. Earlier, India was part of the US alliances in the Malacca state and the Far East area. But now India has been given a dual role to look after this side also. And once we couple this with the net security provider, it becomes a different challenge for Pakistan also. So what I can say that map of Asia is being reimagined. Idea of the Asia Pacific, which made good sense as a framework for the regional order in late 20th century, gave way to another construct, Indo-Pacific. Leaders and senior policy figures from Australia, India, Indonesia, Japan, and United States increasingly use the term Indo-Pacific, and Japanese was the first one to use this term. Indo-Pacific terminology used by policy leaders to describe the changing new global order also. Indo-Pacific tendency is much more than matter of superficial or semantic consequences. It provides basis for allocation of resources and high-level attention, prioritization of security partners among countries, membership and agenda of regional diplomatic institutions. And this has ramifications for the China's rise in the regional order, and to some extent it will be a challenge for Pakistan maritime interest also. If we conclude this section of my presentation, that is the Indo-Pacific, the region involves recognizing growing economic, geopolitical and security connections between Western Pacific and Indian Ocean region as a single strategic system. Indo-Pacific can be understood as a maritime super region. Indian Ocean has replaced Atlantic as the global busiest and most strategically significant. So, USA has accepted Indian role as a policeman or the net security provider under their policies. And under this Indo-Pacific strategy, India is a major player to play its role. Economies of the East Asia depends acutely on the oil import across the Indian Ocean from Middle East and Africa. China, all 80% of China import is from this area, 90% South Korea, 90% Japan are also shipped from the Middle East. So this will, these countries, other than China, the other countries will also, in the times to come, I fear, will feel the heat of this new arrangements. Developments are making Indo-Pacific world's economic and strategic center of gravity. Similarly, other changes of terminology were maritime Silk Road idea, look east to act east policy of Indian Prime Minister Modi's age, the agenda. Japanese said the confluence of two seas. Some Indonesian presidents had maritime nexus between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. So all these great leaders and the great nations have been coining the different terminologies, but probably they have all agreed to now on Indo-Pacific strategy. Unfortunately, Pakistan has yet to come up with a formal response on this word Indo-Pacific strategy as a state. Coming to India, Indian mindset. This slide indicates Indian mindset. Whoever controls the Indian Ocean has India at must. Another Indian said India cannot exist without the Indian Ocean being free. Free means free uh, for them, but they have to control it. Indian Ocean must therefore remain truly Indian. Another thought process. And the final one is, as the Indian Ocean region takes on greater geostrategic significance in Indo-Pacific, India must foster its engagement to maintain a leadership position. This is the issue, that India thinks that they are the born leaders of this area. So, which is a probably not very correct way to deal with the rest of the world. India is also having a lot of logistics port agreements which provide them opportunities to use the other countries' naval bases, ports for the stationing of their naval vessels. So, cooperation among Indian Ocean stakeholders. No single state can do it. This is the important message. And final slide. Whoever controls the Indian Ocean dominates Asia. This ocean is the key to the seven seas in the 21st century. Destiny of the world will be decided in these waters. Admiral Alfred Mann said somewhere 200 years back, and his words are 100% true for today. Thank you very much for patient listening. Any questions later we are available to discuss. Thank you once again to the Milan University for inviting me. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Babur Bilal Setu, for joining us today for the first International Online Maritime Conference titled Unsustainable Ocean Sprawl, Harnessing the Benefits of Ocean for Pakistan's Economy. Dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished speakers, our guests, students, and faculty members, I, Dr. Swastika Naini, from the platform of Karima Center of Research and Innovation in Maritime Affairs, welcome you all again to this first International Maritime Conference. Without wasting any time, we will move on to our first technical session. session, and this session is based on the theme of Indian Ocean. And I'll be the moderator for this session, and the session chair will be Professor Dr. Asar Ahmad. Let me share the protocols for this first technical session. We have 10 presentations in this first technical session, and every presenter will be given 12 minutes to present their research. And I would like to request all of our honorable presenters who have joined us from all over the world to please quickly follow the time so that we can finish it off within the given time. So if you have any question, audience, then you can see Q&A bar at the bottom of your screen. Then you can post your queries over there, and by the end of this first session, we will take your questions, and you can mention the name of the person as well to whom you want to ask questions. Okay, so 12 minutes for each presentation, and we are moving on. Professor Dr. Asar Ahmad, yes, please allow me to invite the first presenter for the first technical session of today.
Yes, please go ahead. I think we have already taken a lot of time. Let's start with it. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have taken a lot of time, but inshallah, it will be managed. Thank you so much for your permission. And the first paper presentation is by our presenter from Bangladesh, Dr. Rozan Chandra. And the topic of his presentation is Geopolitics of Port Development in South Asia, a SAF perspective on the freight transport system. So over to you, Dr. Razan.
Are you clear, Naim?
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, thanks to Professor Dr. Sajid Shazad, sir. Actually, we met in a conference in Thailand, and that inspired me to develop this paper. And today I'm presenting this one. I'll take 12 minutes. I will try of my best. Thank you very much. With due respect to Honorable Chair and the moderator and all of audience, greetings from Bangladesh. This is Dr. Rajan Chandra Shaha. I am the Head of Research and Innovation of Power Tech Limited, leading container terminal operator of Chittagong Port. And my topic is geopolitics of port development in South Asia. The study is regarding to SARC, and the main topic is the freight transport system. First of all, I would like to say about my conflict of interest, and it is a geopolitical matter and geopolitical issues over here. So the opinions belongs to me, and there is no conflict of interest with my employer, also to my country. And if this study will not harm to anybody, and do not take it personally, this is my personal request. Okay, so my presentation is three-part. First is the introduction, business methodology, conceptual framework, and later as a review that develop the main conceptual framework for getting some indicators or critical success factors in the regional development in freight transportation system. And I brought two studies, one for Afghanistan and one for Bhutan. And some major findings will be shared with the research impact. And I developed one model. This is a very short model. I think further research is required over here. So just beginning the SARC from Bangladesh in 1985, just to promote our economic development and regional integration among the member countries. You know that China and Myanmar both applied to be a member of SARC, and this is under consideration. Actually, our daily lifestyle, our business, international business, shipping, everything. But two countries, China and Myanmar, already involved. So I feel that there will be a big consideration to add them to remove all of the barriers in business and regional integration. Afghanistan, Nepal, and Bhutan, and the northeast part of India are landlocked country in South Korea, and two main seas from the Indian Ocean, like Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, is covering the maximum maritime connectivity in this area, including some other small oceans in Sri Lanka and Maldives. So strategically, the important parts in the India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh is together here, and two small countries, Nepal and Bhutan, is just above the northern side of this circle, and Afghanistan is playing a big role due to its mineral resources, agriculture, products, and lots of things. Overall, in this region, port development is essential, but actually it is very critical to provide maritime access to the landlocked parts, and also the country is owned their own sea access, but it is difficult to serve the internet without help of the other countries like India. Without Bangladesh, it is not possible to serve the maritime access to the northeast part or seven sister states of India. So outsiders like China is trying to invest in the development of South Asian ports such as Gadar in Bangladesh, Hunadia, Hambantona, and any other parts of the country by Chinese investment as a Belt and Research, Belt and Road Initiative approaches. This paper is specifically trying to find out the geopolitics of port development in South Asia and remove the barriers and develop an integrated freight transportation system for Southeast Asia by which they will serve the landlocked parts. That's a big issue for our regional integration and business development. Also, the freight transport connectivity. This research followed the qualitative research methodology, and here the conceptual framework developed to identify the indicators or variables and literature review and two case studies already I told you for Bhutan and Afghanistan. Especially examines how they will take the cargoes from the other countries' sea access or port terminals. So AABB model is developed here too, freight transport model for developing SURF and evolving the regional trade and connectivity. Uh, in the conceptual framework, which is looking the geopolitics in with like South Asia, but other two countries are also involved, like China. The big power of the world is trying to impose or involve or trying to increase their intellect, although they haven't any kind of interland access to the sea or the country, but by power or by investment, they are trying to increase their intellect to the South Asia. So two major seas, Arabian and Bay of Bengals, are also variables to how to serve the South Asian countries. As a part of the qualitative research, we reviewed some literatures over here, and we found that the ports as geopolitical assets, but it's a gateway of international trade. And the World Bank, they identified and restated that South Asia remains the world's least, at least integration, just 5.20%. But the organizations or forums like East Asia, you will get it 50%. In here, the import-export trade of India is making a big barriers. With all countries of South Asia, India is making surplus export but not import. But they can consider the other South Asian countries for import and make a trade balance with all. In addition, found that China-Pakistan economic corridor, that's a big issue with China, also to Pakistan, and that further forward to Afghanistan. So this continental initiative as a part of wide range of port expansion in South Asia, but somebody is viewing this one as a negative impression to getting the China into the South Asian country or business. So it's just a not a win-win situation. The situation is going to the China's part as they make bad impressions by Hambantona port of Sri Lanka. So in here, China-Pakistan economic corridor and the build of Gadar is a big concern or issue by India and all of the worlds also for South Asia. So, so here trade transport efficiency is low due to the lack of infrastructure. Like Bangladesh's two principal seaport, Mongla and Chittagong, they are able to serve northeast part of India and also Nepal, Bhutan. But due to geopolitical issue, it is not possible to pass the chicken necks of India. So need to consider by India or the SARC needs to make a big role to open all of the sea access of the sea. We will see one model. This model will help to recognize the opportunity, potentiality, and the areas where we may develop and make an integration freight transport connectivity for South Asia. So the literature, if you found some research gaps like role of SARCs is not potential in regional development and the trade barriers. Already I told that's the import-export surplus or minus of India and absence of indicated freight connectivity and scope of for outsiders like China, USA, also trying to involve in South Asian countries, and somewhere is the supply chain uncertainty due to natural disadvantages of heliwares and climate change effects and the sustainable way of transporting cargo. So there are some supply chain uncertainty here. If you look to the first indicator of developing the port development, and we found that among the 8 countries observed, Afghanistan, Bhutan, and Nepal not access to the anything. So see, they are taking the access from Afghanistan, from Karachi, Pakistan, Bhutan, Nepal. They are from Indian ports, sometimes from Kolkata, and sometimes from Visakhapatnam or other parts. So here there are lots of opportunity to develop, but the style or strategy for port development is going to another parts. Now it is the terminal operators are developing the port and international marketing, and they are making access to others within the interland and expanding the interland by getting permission from even the other countries. Look like European country, Rotterdam is serving many countries. So in here, everything is absence. Even the policy for constructing the new terminal like Gadar, Hambantona and others, this developed but not implemented in our South Asian countries properly. This is the hinterland development. Already I told the opportunity is very rare to go others country, and there is no port rivalry and competition among the South Asian ports. So that here the others part, like even the India landlocked part, they are also suffering. So the main part of developing hinterland is the dry port, like Afghanistan, Bhutan, Nepal, and even the northeast part of India, even Pakistan some part. All we need to develop the hinterland, and the dry port is the best way to connect with the seaports by railroad, rivers, or any other modes. This is the way to develop the hinterland. So here the politics is to not giving the permission or not allowing the cross-border trade between two countries. And this is the development of our visualization of port, how to make that freight transport connectivity. Just not making the dry ports. The connection is very important. The third indicators of to make the connections. So the port of Gadar is not only in the best interest of Pakistan and China. I think this will be the interest of region development, because all the countries of South Asia, they may take import from Afghanistan, so they may use the Gadar. So they will help to increase the connectivity, and the port service model that we will see in the next slide how they will connect. Now the forum, lots of forums are here. Already I told that SARC is not in active position. SARC is comprising 10 countries, and the others like BIMSTEC, 7, BCIF and BVIF are altogether 11 countries. Here Thailand is coming. Like China is intersecting all of the South Asian countries by their BCIM economic corridor, except Afghanistan and Pakistan. So in here, you look lots of forum, but there is no integration. Even SARC has no program for developing freight transport or transport connectivity among the countries. So in your inactive roles due to some physical wires and others, then it is making a bad sense for all of the peoples and not developing the international trade. That result in the high cost of the freight transport and high cost that is just bearing by the peoples of the South Asia. And the last one is how to make regional development. We already told that South Asia is the only the inter-regional trade is doing 5.20%. But if you look to East Asia, 35.50, and Asian is 45.46. Even if you go to the Europe, then it is above 60%. So where we are, what we can do, we need to stance with our people. So especially India needs to stance major contributor to the export and import to from South Asia, and they may minimize this one. So India's active role is very appreciated for this. And China, Myanmar are also seeking the membership, sir. So if they contribute with us, then it will be a very big um, um, help for us to develop our port logistics sector. And the last, the case study, first case study is the from um, Arabian Sea to Afghanistan. We just here found together to the 10 divorce in Afghanistan. They may be connected, but my research is telling that if you dedicate the gather port belongs to Pakistan, but they may distribute the handling of operation of gather port to the Asian countries like Bangladeshi company, Indian company. They may contribute, they may handle and operate the port terminals like Thailand's Lam Chabang port. We visited Lam Chabang port. Lots of countries are contributing there. So I know the construction cost belongs to China or in Pakistan, but I think it may be open for all to do business for doing international trade and regional integration. Like Bangladesh is importing lots of RNG materials from China or other countries, but they can import from Afghanistan, Pakistan. So maritime gateway or maritime liner shipping may come here to this one. So this is the case for Afghanistan. Similarly, Bhutan. Actually, Bhutan is basically fully landlocked like Afghanistan, but they have the access to Kolkata port, and they're trying to get access of Chittagong port. So Bhutan is trying to
Sorry
connect
for
with.
the interruption.
Okay,
Will you please conclude it? We are
just
at
2 minutes.
short of time.
Just two
Okay,
minutes.
sure. Sure. Okay.
Uh, so the findings of SARC is inactive, and insider we have the problem, and China is trying to involve with us. This is outsider, and Bangladesh freight infrastructure is not adequate and efficient to serve the SARC's landlocked countries, and active role of SARC and potential seaports to provide. So we just look for to the their model. If you look to the model. Uh, in India, there are 13 major ports in the Indian Ocean, especially Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, and Pakistan two prime ports, Gadar and Karachi, and also in Bangladesh, Chittagong and Bangla. But we identified five seaports: Bangladesh, Chattogram, India, two ports. East and West East is Visakhapatnam and West is JNPT, and Pakistan Gadar and Sri Lanka Colombo. So we just made one network model for this. Uh, that will make some liner shipping activities, regular routes, and by connect the intermodal within the inside special transportation by intermodal of rail route and river as much as possible. So that this model will help to do internal trade among all South Asian countries and support landlocked parts of the uh, South Asian countries. The conclusion is telling that actually this is not conclusion and recommendations. Actually, the significance of the seaports increased after 1990 war. The port is very important issue for any country, especially for doing international trade and shipping is getting the access. If I have no seaport, but if I connect strategically or indicatively with one country, then it is very good for doing international trade. So the involvement of BRI approach and China's is here. I just closing this one. So I have two recommendations. So we need to emphasize on seaport and dry port, and SARC needs to make a big role and to work closely with other regional forums to avoid overlapping of projects and enhance the capacity of freight transport by our teamwork. And last but not least, I think we need to integrate our port and logistics sector with the help of all member countries. And the role of Pakistan for Gadar and India and Bangladesh Chittagong altogether a good freight transport network in uh, South Asia. Thank you very much. This is from my part. If you have any question, you can email me or send anything to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rizan from Bangladesh. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Asad, can we move on to the next presentation? Okay, so now moving on to the next presentation is by Abdul Rachman, and he will be joining us from Indonesia. And the topic of his presentation is impact.
Ini ya? Iya.
The topic of presentation is impact of malfunction load cell and mechanical actuator sensor to performance of ship stability, general cargo simulator at unit laboratorium and workshop STI Jakarta. So over to you, Abdul Rashman. Yes,
Okay, thank you very much.
we can see your screen.
Hello,
You, sir.
moderator. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for the moderator to give me for opportunity for presentation. The title is Impact of Malfunction Load Cell and Mechanical Actuator Sensor to Performance of Ship Stability General Cargo Simulator at Unit Laboratorium. Abstract is Ship Stability Cargo Simulator is a laboratory to provide training on the configuration and procedure for maintaining ship stability. A training facility for cadets in the nautical field. The Ship Stability General Cargo Simulator describes a general cargo ship configuration in which has equipment to simulate cargo loading and ship ballast filling, which serve to simulate ship condition when loading cargo. Research purpose. The research objective of this paper that make this to obtain solution so the maintenance and repair can operate properly. Visibility of laboratory facility as training infrastructure and environment always in a state of optimal use. Methodology of research is mixed methods by calibration, investigation, inspectional, repairing, and function test, try and error. Identification of problem. There is a damage to the actuator push lever, where the push lever or actuator runs on its own without getting order from the console. There is also damage the load cell which function as load reading sensor. Introductions with the aim instructor or lecture and or cadets can understand the connection between type and step of the experiment or measurement with the QSS or Quality Standard System subject as the reference. The two materials are placed side by side in one document page, namely subject that become reference is presented in the column. Experimental as measurement step are presented in the right column. In this way, the instructor or lecturer and the cadet have the same information so that what subject are the concern of the quality standard system and in what way the QSS subject can be better understood by the cadets through an experimental or measurement approach in a series of practicum activity apart from the teaching methods and searching aid. And this is literacy theory. With this graphic, we can explain displacement of weights and then longitudinal center of the flotations and also moment to change stream. At the figure 1, have hydrostatic curve of bulk carrier. Also have another figure with the hydrostatic curve, and this graphic cross curve of stability, and also for the curve strength curve of the graphic. Research methodology. The type of research we use study is a mixed method that is descriptive, qualitative, and quantitative research, which describe a number of data which and analyze and compare it based on the ongoing reality and is try to provide solution existing problem. Result and discussion. As we see, scope of analysis methodology that is by inspection of the conditions we see at the picture. This is a pilot with barium model, and also figure number 7 we inspect for the power supply, and figure number 10 the result of the ballast level and sensoring calibration and measurement data and recalibration. On this paper, on this picture, we have aquarium system supply water cargo ship, and the other one is a console control simulator. So between these two pictures is related. If load sensor and mechanical actuator this damage, so we cannot operate maximum performance